My name is Akphan Behera, and the topic for my showcase is one foot on the accelerator and one foot on the brake. With the heavy weight of my bags on my shoulders and the sun shining over my head, I wonder if this is how life unfolds for many of us. As I hear the life of underprivileged women in a locality of Delhi, the capital of India, share their stories of injustice, violence, and unequal rights. The story of Sarita Didi, who was a victim of domestic abuse and could do nothing about it. The story of Anita, a young bright girl who was sexually harassed by one of her family members. The story of struggles that one of my batchmates had to go through to convince her parents to send her to Delhi for higher education while they were completely against it. Because लड़की इतना दूर जाकर पढ़कर क्या ही कर लेगी. That is when I realized that while many of my friends back in my hometown in Odisha were allowed to opt for higher education, sending them to a different state for better education was questioned because of their safety as they were girls, while it was just not the same for men. This is when I also realized my privilege, and I realized that why we as women end up being grateful for some very basic things in life, as basic as our right to live, our right to education, our right to have a career of our choice. Because most of us understand that our immediate family and the society at large play vital roles in determining our lives as women. With my research, my understanding, and my conversation with multiple women on ground, I understood that what I call as basic rights for women today is still a luxury for millions of girls across the globe. Realizing this additional advantage that I had of not only pursuing higher education but also having the privilege to pursue my dreams and ambitions, I knew that there was something I wanted to do, something I had to do, a change that I wanted to bring because I realized that there is a problem and a problem that only our generation can solve. When I started to research and dig in deeper and understand this entire issue, it was heartwarming for me to see that more girls are enrolling in schools than boys. And the trend over the last 10 years has been consistent of the fact that girls are being more successful in clearing the 10th and 12th examinations. However, when I understood it better, I understood that what was more alarming is although that they are studying, but nearly 84% of these girls drop out before graduating. More women are going to primary schools but are not going to secondary schools. More women are going to colleges but a very few out of them are working. Ultimately, I realized that all these social issues that women face today are interrelated, and the only solution is to bring women. When I say women here, I mean all women, despite where they come from, despite the class that they belong to, is financial independence. To have financial independence, they need to work. And that means we need to have equal opportunities for men and women at workplace. To get that opportunity to work, they need to have access to education. Again, when I say education here, it is not the primary education only, but also for the secondary education, which will help them ultimately develop their technical skills. Once women are independent, they will have a stand of their own. They will be valued and can question the injustice, which will ultimately lead to breaking the shackles of domestic violence and sexual harassment, and definitely a lot of other social economic issues. Thus, the root cause of obstacles that women face today, as per me, is the lack of education, which leaves them ultimately in a vicious cycle of mistreatment, violence, and poverty. The problem is that women, even today, come with a blueprint of being caretakers and men as decision makers. Indian parents, even today, focus more on saving for their daughter's wedding all their life rather than investing in her dreams and saving for her growth. In a country with strong traditional influences embarked on us from a very young age, we often fail to question the concept of prejudice and relatively rigid structure that is imposed on us from such a young age. Gender inequality is not just a pressing moral and social issue, but is a critical economic challenge. Over 2.7 billion women are legally restricted from having the same jobs as men globally. And globally, countries are losing $160 trillion in wealth because of the difference in earnings between men and women. Understanding all of these issues, the only solution that I could scale down to is three things, three E's: education, empowerment, and encouragement. Firstly, education. Like Gandhiji said, educate a man and you're educating a person. Educate a woman and you educate a family. Education is the fundamental to upliftment and will give women access to real world opportunities to identify their skills and strengths. We all have a power to bring about change in our own capability, but to bring that change, they need to be aware of the issues that people are facing. To be aware of the issues that people are facing, they need to be educated. The basic is always education. Secondly, is empowerment. The underlying barriers to underprivileged girls into competitive mainstream are the fundamental lack of confidence, awareness, life skills, employability skills, guidance, mentoring, resources. But if we give them all of this, they become self sufficient agents of change in their own communities. Imagine empowered girls from their own communities being role models for other girls. That in itself will bring about a revolution altogether. If we even have one woman, one girl from each community get all these resources, that is essential. Empowering underprivileged girls is a lot of times also equated with vocational skills like stitching, tailoring, beautician. But empowerment in the 21st century is a very broad term. For me, empowering means something I call the 21st century skills. Skills to make them reach their highest potential. And these skills are not skills like stitching and tailoring, but technical skills. Technical skills make women better decision makers and will improve their quality of lives, ultimately opening more opportunities for them. Third is encouragement. We are all able to question these fundamentals today because of the other inspiring women who have raised their voice. At one point of time, there was a woman who was fighting for primary education for girls. Today, that is done. But what about secondary education? What about workplace? These are things that still needs to be questioned. A lot is definitely done, but a lot more needs to be done. We did not come this far to just come this far. While women are provided basic education, the society is putting one foot on the accelerator with that primary education. But that education, the primary education provided to these girls will go in vain if they do not get opportunities to work, and that ultimately will come through the second feet that the society has asked us to keep on the break, which is for higher education, technical skills, and to be financially independent. All of this reminds me of this very strong incident that has left a very strong imprint on my mind. A story from Indra Nui. Indra Nui, the CEO of PepsiCo, says in her book My Life in Full about a conversation with her mother the day she became the president of PepsiCo. She was hopping mad and said her mom, I've just become the president of PepsiCo. To which her mother responded, You may be the president or whatever of PepsiCo, but when you come home, you're a wife, you're a mother, and you're a daughter. Nobody can take your place. So leave your crown in the garage. This demonstrates how women are held to a different standard than men when it comes to celebrating achievements. But the question still remains that why are women always expected to fit inside a glass slipper like Cinderella when they can shatter the glass barriers that the society has built? If we go back to a decade from now, we'll realize that women started their career when dynamics between men and women at work were not the same as they are now. The corporate world has definitely evolved. The corporate world at that time had never seen a woman boss. There were hardly any female mentors. But today, women are balancing, juggling, compromising, doing their best to find their place, to move ahead, and to manage relationships and responsibilities. So, with women in today's world, so much has changed. We allow women to study, but we give them access only to the primary education and we do not let them go for technical skills or secondary education. Women who still fight and get access to secondary education are further not allowed to work. Women who still fight for work and go to work have to quit their careers after one point of time because they are made to believe that the biological and the career clock cannot go together. And since they cannot go together, they are also made to believe that they have to trade off one for the other. Women today are encouraged to go out and capture the crown like unlike ever before, but they still are asked to leave their crown in the garage. So the glass ceiling is broken, but half broken. The glass is shattered, but half shattered. We have to allow women to accelerate their lives and their career, but we still ask them to keep their other foot on the brake. We still need a revolution, a bigger revolution, a larger revolution, a revolution where women do not have to worry about the break, where women can still work and still manage everything in their lives together. Exactly like men are not questioned about this, women are also not questioned about their decisions. This will not happen when this will only happen when all of us come together, when every single section of the society, when women from every single section of the society come together, when we become role models for other women, when we stand for each other. And that is when a revolution will come about, where women do not have to worry about the break. They can just keep one foot on the accelerator of their education and career and the other on the accelerator of life. Because ultimately, all of us did not come this far only to come this far. Did we? Thank you.